Hi there, I'm Joe and I'm about to read Replay by James in Year 6. The sun was shining bright in the desolate landscape. Lana was running towards the enormous mound. Her oxygen was at a critical level. The bunker within reach, she decided to hold her breath, preserving her last few dying particles of air. She reached the wheel. With all her strength, she used her weary hands to turn the wheel clockwise. The door opened. She rushed in, shut the door, turned the wheel, pulled the lever, and waited for the ping. The ping arrived. She was safe to breathe. Lana trotted cautiously down the stairs into the kitchen, put down her bag, and sat down. Theo jumped wildly out of his bed. "What you got?" he said, excitement running through his veins. Lana grabbed her bag and her arm dived in. I think this is still working," she said, as her arm came out to reveal an old torch clutched in her hand. She put it down on the table. The torch was picked up by Theo. "Whoa," he said, gazing at it. Suddenly, Lana grabbed something else out of the bag. It was some record tape in a player. She pressed play. Music was spat out of the record player. Theo, who was playing with the torch, zoomed around, a curious face staring at the player. He sped over to it. Suddenly, a voice said, "Do you want to come and play with us?" Theo hesitated. Lana turned it off. "Play it again!" Theo shouted. "No. If it gets damaged, I won't be able to sell it. Anyway, it's time for your bed." "You're always the one who tells me when it's time for me to go to bed," said Theo, walking to his bed. He pulled the covers over him and fell asleep. The next morning, Lana was making hot chocolate, Theo's favourite, when she looked to see if he was still asleep. Theo wasn't there. She looked on the shelf. Neither was the record player. She dropped the mug she was holding. It smashed on the floor. She didn't care. She needed to find Theo. Meanwhile, out in the seemingly endless, sun-blessed wasteland, Theo was taking the road to the abandoned town nearby the bunker. He got there. Uninhabited buildings surrounded him. The wind whistled in all directions. Windows broken, doors cracked. It was a dilapidated place indeed. He turned the record player on. He could hear all sorts of strange noises. Cars driving along, water splashing, a school bell ringing. He ran over to the school and sat on a roundabout. His metal leg clanked. The roundabout creaked. Suddenly, two kids appeared in front of Theo. They flew a paper aeroplane. It landed on a windowsill. The boy and girl stared at him, whispering. For a moment, he thought hard. Then, very slowly and cautiously, he took his eye goggles off. Then he thought even harder. He unclipped his mask, took it off, and breathed in. All around him, colours suddenly flourished. He'd gone to a better place. Lana ran around the corner, only to see Theo lying flat on the floor, lifeless.